So I bought a business and I couldn't run it. Not only could I not run it, I wasn't even sure that the service the business provided actually worked. But I bought it anyway. Sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? But I discovered that what I did was what a lot of buyers actually do. Sounds ridiculous, but let me tell you the story of, well, buying a business and having no idea what you're doing. So with over 20 years as a business broker, one of the things I've learned is I'm not alone in doing this. I mean, who would buy a business and have, well, no idea what they're doing or how to run it? Seems that a lot of people do. Sounds silly, doesn't it? But this is the story about a business I bought, no idea, and how hopefully I could turn it into a success. So what business did I buy? What business did I buy that I couldn't run and I had no idea if the service actually worked? Well, I bought a hypnotherapy business. Yeah, I know, a hypnotherapy business. So how does that work? Well, basically it was a simple business. What we would do was we would advertise that our service was coming to a town. We'd advertise in a local paper, we'd do local advertisements, we'd hire a room. And what we'd do is we would hypnotise people to help them give up smoking or lose weight. So we'd have a couple of sessions during the day. One was a weight loss, one was a give up smoking. People would come in, we'd get a whole group of them in the room. Sometimes there were 10, 12 people. Sometimes we had 70 or 80 people in the room. I would stand up the front, I would talk to them, and I would hypnotise them, and they would leave the business a non-smoker or with a weight loss plan. Pretty simple, pretty easy business, but I wasn't a hypnotist. How was I going to run this thing? Luckily, I figured out a way of doing that. So before I get on to how I did it, let me answer the most often asked question whenever I say this. And the question is, does it work? Now, the answer was, let's use giving up smoking as an example. Well, the answer was yes, it did work. And it worked quite well. Now, people would leave the room as non-smokers. We even had a guarantee. We guaranteed that you would be a non-smoker, and if for any reason you took up the cigarettes again a week or two or three or a month later, you could come back to our next session for free. We'd hypnotise you again and you'd be a non-smoker. And yes, it did work. Statistically, it was one of the best ways of giving up smoking. So what can I say? It worked. But how did I hypnotise people? How did that work? Well, what you may or may not know is that hypnotism in the hypnotherapy market is unregulated, completely unregulated. There are no formal qualifications. There is no governing body. There is no government department, nothing. Anybody can stand up and go, oh yeah, I'm a hypnotist and I can help you with hypnotherapy. Totally unregulated. Anybody can do it. So there was no problem with me calling myself a hypnotist, but how was I actually going to hypnotize people? Well, that's where logic took over. So what I did was I found a mentor. So I found a mentor who understood hypnotherapy, understood hypnotism, and he taught me how to hypnotize people. And yes, I actually did hypnotize people. Yes, it actually worked. So with his help, I learned the skills I needed to know to be able to run a hypnotherapy business. Simple as that. Learned skills. I didn't go into the business going, well, I can do that, any fool can do that, it's something I know. It was something completely different, completely foreign to me, but something I had to learn. And that's what I did. Turned out, I learned it rather well. Okay, don't look into my eyes because I'll hypnotize. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. You cannot hypnotize someone who doesn't want to be hypnotized. It is as simple as that. So if you don't want to be hypnotized, it just won't work. You can resist it. And I can't hypnotize you through the camera lens here, and nor am I trying to do that. So don't worry about that. So yes, it was a successful business. I ran it for maybe 3.5 years with my wife. She was kind of the receptionist, if you like. She welcomed people at the door, signed them in, and I hypnotized them. And as I said, we ran that for about 3.5 years. It was very part-time, so we would do it maybe 1 to 2 days a week, no more than that. And it was nice to travel around the country, the two of us doing it. So very enjoyable for a few years, but in the end, got a little bit bored, so wanted to move on to something else, which is what I did. Now, that's a whole another story, but the short answer is the business was successful because I had a mentor, because I had someone who could teach me the skills needed to make that business successful. Now, that applies to anything that you do. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and buy a doctor's surgery and ask someone to teach you how to do brain surgery or anything like that. That's a little bit too extreme. Likewise with the trades, you obviously need to be a tradesman. But business skills, product skills are a taught skill. There's something that you learn. If you understand how to run a business, if you understand that more money needs to come in than goes out, then you're halfway there. You then just need to learn those skills. So don't be afraid of a business that you don't know. Don't be afraid of a product that you don't understand. Those are learnt skills. And you will miss out on some cracker businesses simply because you're scared of the product. I mean, the hypnotism business is a classic case. If I said to you, oh, buy a hypnotherapy business, you go, I don't know anything about that. That's all mumbo jumbo, whatever. But it's a learnt skill. I learnt it. We were successful in the business. We did well out of it for the 3 years. So learnt skills, really important when you're buying a business. So it's quite simple. The willingness to learn, well, that trumps experience every day of the week. If you want to learn something, if you buy something, you want to figure out how to do it, that's the key to success. It's not waking up in the morning with instant knowledge about everything. It's understanding the business that you're buying, understanding what it does, how it does it, and figuring out how you can best learn to make that business a success. Because let's face it, you've got lots of reasons why you should make it a success. So what do I mean by that? Lots of reasons. Well, if you think about it, if you spend, I don't know, pick a number, $500,000 buying a business, that's 500,000 good reasons why you need to figure out how to run that thing, and you need to figure out how to make a success of it. And that's a pretty good incentive. Let's face it, you've probably got a family, you've got a wife, you've got children, you've got responsibilities, you might have a mortgage, you might have all sorts of things going on. So you need to make that business work for you. You need to get that business up and running and make it work for you. But how do you do that? So if you're getting value from this video, and I certainly hope you are, there's a button just for people like you. It's called the like button, just down there. Give it a click, subscribe, much appreciated. So what do? You find a good mentor, a good business coach, someone who can teach you what you don't know. And that's the key. People who admit that they don't know and ask for help, generally they're way more successful in the long term with any business that they buy. So a good business coach, a good mentor, how do you find those? Well, the easiest way is to DM me. I'll send you a list of people that my clients have used and that, well, they speak highly of them. And they'll teach you, they'll show you how to run your business, how to maximize your business for you. A good business, yes, can always be better, and you do that with a good mentor or a good coach. Now, nothing in it for me. I'm quite happy to pass those names on to you, and you can make a decision as to who you want to learn from. Have you ever thought about why some businesses sell and some don't? It's a really good business, good profit, good staff, good supply lines, great history, but it still doesn't sell. Why is that? Have a look at that video up there. That'll tell you why. May even give you some hints as how you can bag a bargain when you try and buy a business like that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you over there. Cheerio.